Every group has one. The guy nobody can stand. On the beach after the crash of Oceanic 815, while the survivors are pooling food and building shelters and trying to hold each other together, there's one man doing the opposite of all of it. He's raided the wreckage and claimed everything he could carry: medicine, magazines, liquor, things dying people need, and he's sitting on the pile like a dragon, trading only when it profits him. He has a nasty nickname for everyone. He mocks the grieving. He picks fights he could easily avoid. Within days, he's managed something almost impressive. On an island of total strangers, everyone already hates him. His name, he says, is Sawyer. And here's the thing the show waits to tell you: the thing that turns this walking irritation into one of the most heartbreaking characters in Lost. That's not his name. It's the name of the man who destroyed his life, and he took it on purpose. This is the story of Sawyer in Season 1, the con man, the hoarder, the most hated man on the beach, and why every rotten thing he does is aimed secretly at himself. Completely spoiler-free past Season 1, as always. Let's get into it. Start with what the camp sees, because the camp's view of Sawyer is the con he wants you to buy. He's southern, smirking, endlessly quotable. He calls Hurley names about his weight. He calls Jack the hero and Doc in a voice dipped in acid. He calls Kate Freckles, and okay, that one's almost affectionate, and we'll get to that. He reads paperbacks in the sun while other people work. When the camp needs something, an inhaler for a dying girl's asthma, say, it's Sawyer who's assumed to have it, Sawyer who won't give it up, Sawyer who turns a medical emergency into a negotiation. There's a stretch early in the season where his stubbornness over exactly that, asthma medicine, a suffocating woman, gets so ugly that the camp's interrogation of him turns violent, genuinely violent, and even then, he won't just give a straight answer. And here's the detail that should have told everyone something: he didn't have the inhalers. He let himself be hated and hurt over medicine he never possessed. Think about that. The easiest sentence in the world: I don't have it, and he wouldn't say it. He preferred the beating. He preferred being the villain. Why would anyone choose that? The show answers with a letter. Sawyer carries a letter with him, worn soft from folding and unfolding, and in quiet moments, always alone. Always when he thinks no one's watching, he takes it out and reads it, over and over. The camp assumes it's from a lover or family, something sentimental. The truth is so much worse, and the episode that reveals it is the moment this character cracks open. The letter was written by a little boy. Years ago, a smooth-talking con man seduced the boy's mother, swindled his parents out of everything they had, and vanished. What happened to that family in the aftermath, I'll keep gentle. The show doesn't. And it's devastating, but the short version is that the con destroyed them completely, and the boy lost both his parents in one unspeakable night. He survived it. He grew up. And somewhere along the way, he wrote a letter to the man who did it. A letter full of a child's grief and a child's rage, promising that one day he'd find him. The con man's name, the name he worked under, was Sawyer. And the boy who wrote that letter is the man on the beach. Sit with what that means, because it's one of the darkest pieces of character design network TV ever aired. The boy grew up hunting the con man who ruined him. And to hunt a con man, he learned the con. He got good at it: the charm, the seduction, the long game, the swindle. He ran the exact play that destroyed his family on other families. Somewhere in those years, the line between the hunter and the thing he was hunting dissolved, and when it did, he sealed it with a choice that is really a verdict. He took the name. He became Sawyer. The letter he reads over and over isn't a memento from someone he loved. It's addressed to the man he hates most in the world, and now that's him. He carries his own indictment in his pocket, written in his own childhood handwriting, and he sentences himself with it daily. Once you know that, go back and watch The Man on the Beach again, because every single behavior decodes. Why does he hoard? Because a con man's first rule is that everything is leverage, and things are safer to hold than people. Why does he insult everyone, instantly, viciously, before they've even done anything to him? Because it's a preemptive strike. If he makes you hate him on day one, you'll never get close enough to matter, and people who matter can be lost. Why does he take beatings he could talk his way out of? Because some part of him thinks he has them coming. The camp thinks they've figured Sawyer out. He's selfish. They have it exactly backwards. Selfishness is the disguise. What Sawyer actually is a man running a long con on an entire island, and the mark is himself. He believes he's the villain of his own story, the boy who grew up into the monster, and he's arranging the world to agree with him. Every sneer is a brick in the wall. Being hated isn't the price of how he acts, it's the goal. And the cruelest part is that Season 1 keeps showing you the man he could have been in slips he can't quite control. He reads, constantly. Real books, thick ones, and he needs reading glasses to do it. And there's something about the meanest man on the beach squinting through little folded together spectacles that quietly ruins the whole tough guy act. He's smart, observant, funny in a way that isn't always cruel. Watch him with the camp's kid brother figures. Watch him in the rare scenes where someone is kind to him faster than he can prevent it. There's a flicker, every time, of a wholly different person. And then watch him kill that flicker himself. It's almost a pattern you can set your clock by. Sawyer does something decent, someone notices, and within a scene he said something so poisonous that the goodwill dies on the spot. He doesn't just push people away. He waits until they're close enough for it to hurt. Except one person won't stay pushed. Kate. Freckles. If you've seen my Kate video, you know her deal. The sweet-faced fugitive. The woman whose whole life is a performance of goodness over a rap sheet. And that's exactly why she's the one person on the island Sawyer can't con. They recognize each other. Both of them are running from who they were. Both of them lie for a living. But they broke in opposite directions. Kate lies to be loved, and Sawyer lies to be hated. She performs the good person she's scared she isn't. He performs the monster he's convinced he is. So when they spar, and their scenes together crackle, all nicknames and dares and things almost said, it's two professional liars playing a game where each one can see the other's cards. Kate looks at the most hated man on the beach and isn't fooled for a second, and you can watch how much that terrifies him. Contempt, Sawyer can handle. He's built a life out of it. Being seen, that's the one thing the armor was for. There's a moment late in the season, and I'll keep it vague because it's one of the best scenes of the year. Sawyer, in an unguarded hour, tells another survivor a story. Something he knows, something he's been holding, something that would cost him nothing to keep hidden and cost him everything about his image to share because it's an act of pure, uncomplicated kindness, and he does it anyway, quietly, when almost no one is around to update their opinion of him. It's the con breaking. Just for a minute, the man Sawyer works so hard to convince you doesn't exist steps out, does the gentlest thing anyone does all season, and disappears again behind the smirk. That's the tragedy of Season 1 Sawyer in one scene. The goodness was in there the whole time. He just believes it arrived too late to count. Because here's what the letter really means, and it's the thought I want to leave you with. Sawyer reads it over and over, not to remember what was done to him, but to remember what he became. It's a child's promise of justice, carried by the man who broke it in the worst way imaginable, not by failing to find the villain, but by turning into him. Every survivor on that island is running from their past. Jack runs from grief. Kate runs from the law. But Sawyer isn't running from his past at all. He's serving a sentence for it, one he handed down himself with no parole and no appeal, on an island full of people who'd forgive him in a heartbeat if he ever once asked. He never asks. That's the con. The question Season 1 leaves open, and the reason people who start out despising this character end up loving him more than almost anyone, is whether somebody else can overturn a verdict a man has passed on himself. Whether being seen, really seen, by even one person, is enough to break a long con 20 years deep. I'm not telling you how that turns out, but I'll tell you this, you'll never watch him say Freckles the same way again. So, Team Sawyer or still Team Can't Stand Him? Tell me in the comments, spoiler free as always. This is part of my Season 1 character series. Jack, Kate, and Locke are already up, and next time we're leaving the characters behind for the island's strangest mystery, a set of numbers that ruins everything they touch. Subscribing genuinely helps a small channel like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the island.